All right, Storm fans, thank you for tuning in. We have Coach Thomas, as always, with us. Coach, we saw the highlights from Sunday's win. First franchise win over Salina in history.
Which is crazy, mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. So we thought we had it earlier this year, or at least had a good shot at it.
There was a lot of ways we could have and should have won that football game and managed to not do that. And this one, we led most of the way and managed to almost give it away there at the end. But in dramatic fashion, we found a way to persevere.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking back, obviously 34-31 win over Salina. What were some of your key takeaways from that game?
Our defense is pretty good, and we managed to blow 2 or 3 coverages still that gave away some points, and that's how much better we can even be if we can clean some things up. But it was nice to get Michael Lawson back, and obviously his impact was immediate with another 2 interceptions, and just the confidence that he gives the other 7 guys when he's on the back end of the defense. But in the process, we think we found a guy that can come in and take some snaps there too. Dylan Thomas did a great job. In the last 2 weeks that he's kind of been in camp with us, has shown that he has the ability to cover high motion as well. And we've got another guy that's going to probably this week factor in a little bit in Bailey Buchanan, who has played in the XFL and played in the SEC, and we're hoping that we can get him active this week and get him some snaps. Maybe not necessarily on high motion, but just another guy in the secondary that gives us a little more depth back there, and we're starting to figure some things out. Pass rush at times has been an issue. We haven't modified the roster too much, and we were kind of built for Iron Man. But we do have 4 true defensive linemen. They're just not all speed rush guys. So at times,
hey, Marquise.
At times we do get a little bit tired, and we're not necessarily geared for that. But we've got to find a way, and those guys did a great job. Will Miles came up with a safety, batted a couple balls down. Marquise was his normal tenacious self, although he got banged up, and that kind of didn't help a little bit. Offensively, we were effective when we needed to be, but we weren't effective enough to not count on our defense as much as this game requires you to do. The first drive of the game, we had 4 penalties just on the first drive. We scored 2 different touchdowns on the first drive and came away with no points. We fumbled twice in the third quarter on drives where we're moving the football. And those are things that are just going to get you beat down the stretch. So the rest of the way, I thought we did some really good things on offense. I think we were 18 of 22 or 17 of 22 passing, which is a pretty good clip for any level of football. I think we ran the ball for close to 100 yards on, Vince was averaging 5 yards a carry on his touches, and some of those were touchdowns, so he didn't even get more. Our quarterbacks probably accounted for close to 60 yards rushing between the 2 of them. So we're doing a lot of good things offensively. We just make enough errors at inopportune times that we let people hang around. And my kind of theme to the offense yesterday, when we finally gave them a couple days off to kind of regroup, but my message to them was, take the average person who enjoys football but doesn't know a lot about it, and they would have walked away looking at our offense and going, wow, those guys aren't very disciplined or organized. And if that's what the average person sees, I put it to this way: if your mom came to the game, as much as she loves you, she would walk away and go, wow, you guys aren't very disciplined. And that's where we really have to improve. Special teams were outstanding. Kick coverage was great. Dylan is a monster. He's figured some things out. He's going to hit a deuce here before it's all over with. And
I cannot wait. I hope he does it this week at home.
Our kick coverage, I hope it comes at home. But our kick coverage has been outstanding because he's hitting the net now. DeQuan is his usual self, and every time he touches the ball, he's a human highlight film. So we've got a lot of things going our way, and we should be difficult. We should be a difficult out for anybody over the second half of the season here and hopefully into the early part of the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, fans, as you have comments, questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. We want to give a big shout out. We have 2 comments right now to number 77, Mr. Will Canty. And then that team did great, good coaching, great teamwork. So kudos to you, Coach, for coaching great.
You know what? I used to always say this about our football teams when I was in the college game is generally when things go really well, the quarterback gets way too much credit, and when things go really bad, he gets way too much of the blame. And that's kind of how I feel in this position is, when things are going good, I probably get too much credit, and when things are going bad, I probably get too much blame, and that's okay. That's what you sign up for in this gig, so. I'll take the credit if people are willing to give it when we win, and I got broad shoulders. I'll take the beating when we lose because ultimately it does fall on me. So
I want to take a quick small step back from looking at just the Storm and look at the league as a whole right now.
Yep.
We do have hopefully our schedule finalized for the remaining 4 games.
That's the rumor.
So we have Wichita coming into town Sunday. That hasn't changed. Next week, there was a lot of rumors flying around about where we were going, who we were playing. Has been that next Saturday we will be going to Odessa to play West Texas or Midland.
Midland, Odessa area.
Yeah.
West Texas, yes.
We'll be going down there. And then on the 22nd, Saturday, we will be back home at United Wireless Arena against the Washington Wolfpack.
For a 5 p.m. kickoff, correct?
Yep. And then we will end the regular season on the road at Nashville on June 29th, Saturday.
June 29th, correct, yep.
So I know you don't, as a coach, you never want to look too far into the future.
Right.
But
it's nice to know where you're going, though.
That's where that question was headed. What's the comfort, I guess, now that you know what next week, what the last 4 games are going to be?
Just that there's some uniformity to it. I mean, that there's something that's kind of set now. The last 3 to 4 weeks have just been, kind of a wait and see type of thing. And I mean, there was 1 week we prepared for 3 different opponents. So it's good to actually have what seems to be a decided on concrete schedule. And it, there was, rumors about us potentially going to Orlando, which didn't bother me. My concern was that it was going to be on a Thursday and we played on a Sunday. And you could say, well, yeah, the NFL does that. They got a 55-man roster. Give me one of those.
Yeah.
It is tough to do with 21. And you just never know. You're 1 injury away from, in some scenarios, just being not very good at some spots and just taking a beating. And with a travel day in there, you at least going into any game, you need a recovery day. You need, ideally 2 prep days, and if you're going to travel, a travel day. That was going to be kind of a tight turnaround, and my concern was our health and what it may cost us, down the road. But obviously that bullet apparently. Cooler heads prevailed and common sense prevailed, and they just whoever is deciding all of these things decided that wasn't a good idea. So, we will be going to West Texas. Honestly, I haven't got a chance to watch them much. I watched them, I think, once or twice in some kind of crossover, and they seem like a heck of a football team. They got some things figured out, super talented, and it'll be a good matchup for us, and exciting to see what they're about and what they're getting to see a new facility that we've never seen before. I think it's a cool thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said earlier, we are not going to be an easy out for anybody. Honestly, our last 4 opponents aren't going to be an easy out for us either.
Correct. There's no such thing. I'm learning here.
So as we look forward to it, we I know we're only 2 days in, practice-wise, prep-wise, into Wichita. We've already seen them once this year. Went down there, lost a heartbreaker.
Yeah, you're going to talk about old stuff. Okay.
Well, that's all we're going to talk about on that one. Anyways.
Okay.
But what's kind of the what's the prep like? What are you looking for them to be like? What can you expect fans to be ready for, or what should fans be ready for this week?
Hopefully a better version of us, and that's usually where my emphasis always lies. In how we play is more of a determining of the outcome of the game rather than what we're going to face. But they, assuming they show up with what they had 2 weeks ago. Again, this will be the second time we're playing Wichita coming off a bye week, which is never easy when someone gets a week off before you, from a health standpoint, fresh leg standpoint, prep standpoint. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that play against you. It is nice to be at home, but I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, rumor is they've got a different quarterback who we have not seen, so that'll be something that we're going to have to deal with. They had some talented wide receivers, I thought, last time. I thought we were better up front on both sides of the ball. Their secondary, I was quite impressed with the first time we played them. I thought they did a good job of playing some man stuff against us, and we, in my opinion, weren't prepared for it and didn't have some answers at times for it, and didn't get ourselves open. So we will be a much more prepared version than we were in our first face-off with them. I think we've got more in our offense. I still think that we are better up front, potentially on both sides of the football. But like I said, I think the outcome will have more to do with what version of us shows up and how we play on Sunday, and less to do with their week off and less to do with the schematics of what they do.
Well, as always, every time we record, we have a familiar face popping in, Mr. Daquan Bailey Brown. We see him over there stuffing his face with some pizza.
Absolutely. He needs the calories.
And we did have a question pop in. I'm curious to see what your reaction is to this one.
Okay.
Coach Thomas noticed that Liberty used a different offensive formation. Would you ever consider using a different offense?
Well, yes and no. I'm not a big fan of being under center, and I know the advantages and disadvantages of some of the traditional arena style offense. When you're under center, you can get the ball in and out of your hand. You can take advantage of some of those looser zones and getting the ball from A to B faster. I wanted to be a little more diverse and give people more to prepare for, which I knew early on could be a detriment, and I knew early on, especially, it would prohibit us from getting the ball from A to B faster and taking advantage of some of those looser zones. But no, I've never thought about switching to directly answer the question. I've never considered switching. I don't intend to get under center. I don't want to get under center. Honestly, I'll probably quit and get out of this before I'll get myself under center, or they can fire me if they want to go under center and they want someone to go under center. So no, I've never really considered it. Although we will do some different versions because of how our losing Jeremy to the UFL caused a depth issue, a hole that we really haven't fixed or addressed. Last week, Vince took way more snaps than we wanted him to or needed him to. So we're going to have to address that issue. So we do have two different versions. Well, we'll have three different versions of our offense that we will throw at people this week, and it will look different from all three vantage points. So we have to have some answers. And it's difficult at this point to train a new guy and to bring a new guy in. So we're servicing that position in different ways. But yes, there will be, we will be changing sort of, if that makes sense, but no, not wholesale changes. And no, we won't look like a old school traditional AFL offense. That's just not who I want to be. And it's not where I see ourselves going.
Absolutely understandable. As we start getting to where we're going to wrap up this week, we're on a 2-game win streak. One of those games was, in my mind, we're on a 3-game win streak. We got the forfeit win, the exhibition win.
It counts. The league counts it. We count it.
Yeah. In theory, 3-game win streak. Fans have been a big part of that. absolutely want every fan that we can out there this week. So what's your message to the fans this how excited should the fans be for Sunday, I guess, is what the point I was trying to get to.
Because a lot of this has to do with the whole NFL Network thing and why we're playing Sunday games. I will say this, not a big fan of playing on Sunday afternoons in our market. I think I think we would probably draw an extra 800 fans or so if we got a chance to play on Saturday night. But because of bookings, you can't. Once that arena's booked, there's a concert there Friday night and stuff like that. So. I thought we had a good turnout for it being a Sunday at 2:00 game, and now we've got another Sunday at 2:00 game. So I'm hoping we have a great turnout. The fans need to know that they absolutely have an impact on the outcome of these games. They're huge. When the offense is on the field, it is tough to operate when the crowd is being loud and down the stretch when things get tight and when people get nervous, having the ability to crank that volume up is big. And it's, anytime you're doing something that you're passionate about, it's more fun to do it in front of people that enjoy your passion. When we're playing well and we're doing good things and we're making electric plays, it's obviously you want people there to acknowledge it, to be a part of it and experience it and make noise and cheer you on. So I'm hoping that we have a great turnout this week, and I'd urge people to come. If you haven't been yet, come see what we're about. And if you have been, we're starting to get some things figured out, and we're putting a good product out there. And I think down the stretch, like I said, I think we'll be a team that people will need to contend with. We're athletic. We're starting to get a little more organized, and something that people around here can get on board with and be proud of, honestly. And everybody wants to be able to support their local team, but nobody wants to support a bad product. And I think we're proving that we've got a pretty good product, and we're only getting better as the year goes on. So we're pretty healthy. I think we've addressed some of the holes that were in our roster. When the thing transferred to free substitutions a week or two ago, we've kind of manipulated the roster a little bit to be better. At addressing that, and the Iron Man switch to free substitutions. It's kind of weird, sometimes you got bigger bodies, and I know some other teams have just flat cut guys and brought in different guys to change how they're playing, and some of them got better pass rushes because of it. Some have gotten better in the secondary. Some are doing more unique things. You can do more when you get a chance to spend more time with those guys, and you don't have to teach the Iron Man. But for us, there's still some guys that are on the other side of the ball that we consider defensive linemen and DBs that are emergency wide receivers. And so there still is an Iron Man aspect for what we're doing. We personally have not gone wholesale changes on either side of the football. So we are, a little more exclusive on each side of the ball, but we still have to keep that aspect of depth on both sides of the football. So anyway, that was a really long answer. I don't even think I answered your question, but what can our fans expect? They can expect to have a really enjoyable environment against somewhat of a familiar opponent, or at least a familiar city, and hopefully for us, a redemption game where we can get on the right side of it in the win-loss column, and a game that, in all honesty, we expect to win.
Well, fans, you heard it here. Show up, show out, be loud, be proud to be part of the Storm Nation. Usually, as you head further east or further west, storms aren't as strong. But as Wichita heads west, storm's going to be real strong this Sunday.
It better be, or I'm going to lose. I'm going to absolutely lose it. I think we're ready for this one, and we're ready for these last four, and hopefully we can get on the good side of more of them than not, and put ourselves in a position to really make a run. However this whole thing plays out from a playoff standpoint, which is something we don't know yet, but we're right in the mix here and have a chance to really make a run at being in a good spot for the playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, Storm fans, be there Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. at United Wireless. If you've not bought tickets yet, they still have tickets available. So go out there, tell them we sent you, and hopefully they get you a good seat. And hopefully we give you a good product to look at Sunday. Until next time, there's a storm coming.
Always.